It's another Saturday, and we'd like to say welcome to the Gracious Hope Podcast. My name is Alexander Red, your host, and of course, Reverend Swat Dede is also here as your co host. The Association of Liberian uh, Journalists in the Americas, ALJA, will be hosting its annual, that is, its national convention on September the 29th, 2022 through October the 2nd of this year. And we will be expecting a lot of journalists from across the United States to be assembled there, as well as special guests. And so we will be talking about the event today, some of the details regarding the guests, the personalities, and also the preparation of the entire event. And with us today, we have the president of the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, ALJA, President Joe S. Missy, and he will be talking about the entire event. So please tune in here. But before we do so, I'm going to bring in Reverend Swat S. Dede, our co-host. Reverend Dede, ALJA convention, once again, annually, as you know, it is a time that all journalists come together, the veteran journalists and supporters and well-wishers come together to have a common table, round table, to talk about a lot of things that are pertinent to the development for our country. Looking at this year's theme, which is sustaining Liberia's democracy, the media that is sustaining Liberia's democracy now and in the future, the media and elections of 2023. That will be the theme, and we understand. And turning Samuel Kofi Wolves will be the guest speaker. So there's a whole lot to be going on. That's what I'm hearing so far, Reverend Dede.
Yeah, and I'm also hearing that there will be some sporting activities too. Um, I hope that will happen because I heard that you're going to be midfield. I hope that's true. May the president confirm that today, whether or not you play midfield. But we are glad to have this discussion. But interestingly, this year there will not be elections, so we hope other members can turn out like they usually do to give support to our convention. This is an annual thing that we all look forward to. Sometimes some of our colleagues don't have the time, the chances to attend, but it has been well attended over the past years, from New Jersey to Minnesota and Delaware and all over. So we'll look forward to hearing from the president. I know he has a lot to discuss with us today. He and I hope we can know a little more about the panelists because I see some names that I know that are on the panelist and the moderator too. So we look forward to a good convention and an inspiring discussion this evening, Alex.
Yes, we do. And if you're just joining us, we'd like to say welcome to the Gracious Hope Podcast. We are here every Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, and 8 p.m. GMT Liberian Time. Welcome, and we'll now present the president of the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, ALJA, President Joe Mason. Would like to say welcome to our podcast for today. We are so glad to hear a whole lot about the National Assembly of ALJA this year in Worcester. Is that Worcester, right? That's how they call it, Worcester, Massachusetts.
Correct.
What are we expecting?
It's pronounced Worcester. Yeah, that is correct. But let me first thank you, the Reverend Dr. Red. I know you don't like the title how much. Thanks for the invitation. Thank you, Reverend Dede, for the invitation to be here today and talk about our annual convention for 2022, which comes up starting the 29th of September to the 2nd of October. That you rightly mentioned, it is the biggest event of the year in our organization. It is the one time that we get together to, strengthen the camaraderie that exists amongst us, but more importantly, discuss substantive issues that affect our country and again talked about the direction of our organization. So that's what we'll be doing. in Worcester. It is the first convention to be hosted by our New England chapter. They put in an extraordinary amount of work to make sure that the convention is successful, and I couldn't be more grateful to them for all the work they've put into it, and I know it will pay off. And so I'm looking forward to Thursday next week at the official start of the convention.
So
Mm.
walk us through the event. Let our audience know how is it going to be like from Thursday. What are the events? What will be taking place from day to
Okay, let's
day?
begin from Thursday, which is the official start date of the convention when we begin to arrive in Worcester. Arrival is put anywhere between 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Once people settle in their hotel, we will meet at a location to be announced by the local chapter, and then we'll do a tour of Worcester. It's important, at least for many of us who have not been to Worcester, to know what the city looks like. Or what the city is comprised of. So we'll do that once we get there that evening, and then there will be a reception to be hosted for us. Those who will be in Worcester that Thursday evening by the local chapter, specifically one of the chapter members that Thursday evening. So that basically will climax the activities for Thursday. And on Friday, we hold our panel discussion um, at about 10 o'clock Liberian time, and I think it's about 2 p.m. I mean, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 2 p.m. Liberian time. And that panel discussion will focus on challenges facing women political participation. We thought uh, this year, but let me back up. Our overall theme this year for the convention is sustaining Liberia's democracy now and in the future, the media, and the 2023 general elections. The question obviously is why this particular topic? Mind you, we have elections for the presidency and a host of other candidates in the national legislature are coming up next year. These elections are really, really important. They're important for sustaining the democracy we have. It is important for the continuity of the peace that we enjoy in the country. And we thought it was important to emphasize those points. We thought it was important for all to discuss because, mind you, our country, have a checkered history. And when I say a checkered history, when it comes to election, is because we've had some really terrible elections in the past that we can all agree was a contributing factor to what resulted in the civil crisis. You can start the 1985 elections, and you can go back to other elections in the country. Post crisis, there were elections in 2005, elections in 2011, those elections that brought President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to power, and then the last one of 2017 that ushered in President George Weah. Those elections, to a large extent, were free and fair. There were, by-elections also held in the country, and we can credit ourselves that those elections again were themselves free and fair. What we're trying to emphasize is that we need to build on those gains as a country. We need to ensure that no more do we go back to those days when elections were rigged, when people were disenfranchised, and we have an impending crisis in our hands. Which is why we are heartened by the words of President George Weah when he addressed the UN General Assembly on yesterday and emphasized that elections in the country will be free and fair. That is what we're looking for. So, to the extent that we all can work, especially the media, were considered the watchdogs of society, to the extent that we all can work to ensure that this happens, that elections are free, they're fair, they're credible, that the Elections Commission, which is the umpire of this process, is conducting the exercise in a way that gives the public confidence that when the results are announced, we can all say yes, it was done in a way that was credible. So that is the overarching goal of why we selected this particular topic and what we want to achieve. But a subset to that is women participation in the political process. Um, we know for a fact that when women participate fully in politics and decision making, they bring a lot to the table. They bring different perspectives, they bring different experiences, they bring different approaches to solving problems, and our country is so much better for it. But the participation rate of women in our national politics is abysmally low. How do you level the number of men and women in national governance and decision making if that is all possible? So, I want to talk about that. And there are a lot of other challenges that make it harder for women to be fully involved in national politics, whether it is entrenched traditional norms, whether it's cultural practices, whether it's limited education. All those factors contribute to making it difficult for women to be fully involved in politics. And they constitute a significant percentage of the population. So we want to talk about that on Friday morning, and we're bringing in some prominent women who have had experiences in political participation, specifically Madam Magdala Cooper, who contested the last elections as a presidential candidate. She is, to my understanding, a candidate for next year's election. She will share her experience with us. We also have two-time senatorial aspirant, Madam Edith Donglo Ware. She too will also be represented on the panel on Friday to talk about these challenges. And so that will be on Friday for the panel discussion on Friday. After the panel discussion, we head over to Assumption University. Assumption University is a really big Catholic university in Worcester. What we're going to the university? We're going to the university because we're a professional organization, and as a professional organization, what we try to do when we visit these cities is to build relationship with colleges and universities that will benefit ultimately our colleagues in Liberia, whether it is to be able to help with capacity building, to build the expertise professionally, to leverage the expertise at these different universities and colleges. We intend to do that. So we'll visit the college, view the campus, see what the mass communication department they look like, and then hold discussions with authorities about how we can partner with them to benefit our colleagues in Liberia. And then once we leave the university, we'll stop over, and I'm told the university is very close to City Hall in Worcester. We'll stop over at City Hall to announce our arrival in the city to the authorities there and to meet with them and exchange pleasantries. And then we'll leave City Hall and get ready for the big match. This is our first soccer match ever as an organization. And so we are excited about it. We will be playing the Worcester Old Timers later on that Friday evening. Folks now who had their booths in storage for months and years, I'm told they're dusting off those booths. And, of course, there have been discussions in different circles when we do meet at this convention. Everyone is boasting that they can play. Well, this is the time for us to show that we can really play. So that will be, but then there's also a way to engage the community in Worcester and announce ourselves and just partner with them and have them attend our big event come Saturday. So the soccer match on Friday will climax the event for Friday. Should I go on?
Yeah, Saturday. Okay, so
Okay,
what
so
is Saturday event?
Saturday is it's our General Assembly. The General Assembly is when we gather as ALJA members to deliberate amongst ourselves, and take stock of where we've come from over the year, and that will mean having a report presented to the body by me. Prior to that, there will be the different chapters president presenting their reports as well. Just as a matter of taking stock and examining where we are. But more importantly, too, there will be a whole, a strategic session where amongst ourselves we're talking about our organization and where we want it to be in the next few years. I'm particularly concerned about that because next year will be my last term as president of ALJA, and I'm hoping that before I leave office, our organization will be in such a strong position that whoever takes over will have a smooth ride in terms of just building upon the successes we've been able to achieve over the years. But before we get to reports, we have some very important guests in our midst that will speak to us that morning. Notably is Grand Bassa County Senator, Madam Yombly Kanga Lawrence, who was so kind enough to accept our invitation to come to our convention in person and speak to the topic I talked about earlier, which is women political participation. She also has experience, ran and won twice, senator for Grand Bassa County. So she will share her experience with us on Saturday morning in what I think will be a very engaging exercise. And then Mr. Alex Coffey, who worked for the Liberian government before, is a financial expert, will also present on financial management. I think that is important for all of us in ALJA because I think sometimes, or too often, the focus is on our colleagues in Liberia. We decided
Mhm.
as a leadership this year to do something for us. How can we benefit from some of these training opportunities that we are doing when we go to these conventions? And we thought that just talking about financial management is very, very important because I think sometimes, the lack of that financial management skills uh, impacts, our financial capacity as Liberians here in the U.S. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about how we can build wealth, as Liberians here, so that other members can be able to, who knows, invest in the stock market and make the resources that benefit them, benefit the family, and if it benefit them, benefit the family. Ultimately, we believe it will benefit ALJA as well. So, Mr. Coffey will present on financial management. And then we're thankfully this year we have some of our colleagues coming from Liberia, which was not the case last year and the year before because of COVID. So we do have a few of our colleagues coming from Liberia, and we are excited about that. And we'll have one of them, just present a brief overview of the media landscape in Liberia firsthand from someone who's come from there. So that at least we who are here, because our goal really is to be able to look back and assist our colleagues. We have an appreciation from someone who is coming from there that can tell us firsthand what is happening in Liberia. So that will wrap up our Saturday event. We'll retire from the General Assembly and get ready for what is the highlight of the convention, and that is the fundraising banquet that we will hold on Saturday evening, where hopefully we are all in, our best outfit, that day. And we'll come and have dinner. But more importantly, we will listen to um, Anthony Samuel Kofi Wolf, who is our guest speaker. Anthony Wolf is the legal consultant of the Liberia Law Society in Liberia. He served as public work minister and labor minister under the presidency of former Madam Ellen Sirleaf, and someone who is widely known for his advocacy when it comes to human rights. He was formerly the head of the JPC, the Catholic Justice and Peace Commission. So we're very excited because he brings a lot of credibility to the issues we'll be discussing, and we look forward to having him. Obviously, the senator from Grand Bassa County will also be there, and we expect that she will deliver special remarks that evening. There's been tickets sold to the community in Worcester, and we expect, based on the feedback we've gotten from our local organizing committee, we expect a really good turnout from the folks in Worcester. Tickets are being sold $40 per individual and $100 per couple. So we're looking for a really good turnout, and there will be some entertainment there as well, just so that the evening is not just about talking, but it's also about having fun. And then I will also make remarks to talk about the state of the association on that evening as well. So that will end the Saturday event, and on Sunday, as we always do, we'll gather at a local church to acknowledge and thank God for the blessing of another year and for what He's done for the association over the last year. And then we'll do that, and we'll have a farewell barbecue at the home of Mr. Edison Zina after the Sunday service, and that will essentially climax and the convention activities for 2022.
That's good. That's a long list of activities going on there. But somebody will ask, what went into the selection of the panelists for the Friday panel discussion?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, the panelists we've selected have had experiences in either running for office or being involved in the electoral process. I mentioned Madam Magdala Cooper. She contested the I think 2017 election as a presidential candidate. She is contesting again in 2023. So she brings her own experience to the table in terms of how it's for her, and hopefully others can learn from where she is right now. And I think Madam Cooper is perhaps, other than presidential leave, is, and I stand corrected, is the only other female who was contesting for the presidency. So we think she bring a lot of credibility to the discussion as well. And then Madam Edith Gonglewe is a household name in Liberia, former superintendent for Nima County. During the last election, the by-election rather, she ran for senator for Nima, and then again she did so a couple of years prior. So she also have a lot of experience in this process. So we think that just having these panelists on and the wealth of experience they had in talking about this particular subject, we're hopeful that it can be a learning experience for everyone. Because again, our goal is to make sure the number of women participating in the political process goes up. Right now, again, I think corrected. I think we have two senators who are female in the Liberian Senate. And there are not a lot in the House of Legislature, I mean, in the House of Representatives as well. So hopefully, and these kinds of discussions, these kinds of education, these kinds of insight can help, bring women on board in terms of enhancing and improving the number of women participating in the electoral process.
That should be a learning process, learning experience.
Segmeni, is there another person in Segmeni?
Oh yeah, so yeah, Dafa is the executive director of Local Voices, the Liberia Media Network. Dafa is currently in the Netherlands, but he's based in Liberia, and his organization has been involved in doing a lot of work when it comes to electoral issues. They've covered a lot of issues that affect the smooth conduct of elections in our country. And we thought it would be important to bring him on board to talk about his research. What are some of those issues they've been able to expose? Because again, we need to be addressing these issues prior to the election, so that when the elections do take place, there's significant confidence in the process that people can say, yes, these elections are free and fair. And the way to do that is to expose these issues that have been uncovered, having us talk about them with the hope that they will be addressed by the Election Commission.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for enumerating the entire events, going into detail what people should expect. It's going to be a very great occasion, because all the former journalists living in the United States will be expecting to meet it once again. And it's an event where you meet your friend face to face you haven't seen for years, and some other members of the community as a whole. And so the New England is the chapter is one of the chapters of ALJA. So ALJA has how many chapters?
ALJA has 4 chapters now. 3 chapters prior to our ascendancy, and then the DMV chapter, the Virginia, DC, and Maryland chapter was the most recent chapter. But yes, the New England chapter was the last of the 3 chapters to be reactivated. I think we did so when I just took over in 2019. And so they've been moving from strength to strength since then, and we are excited that they are the ones hosting these conventions. Because you see, whenever you host these conventions, what it does is generate enthusiasm in your locale, generate enthusiasm in your chapter. They've been able to recruit new members because of the fact that they are hosting a lot more people now in the New England area, especially in Worcester, Boston areas, Farmington area. They now know about the New England chapter of ALJA. So I think it's a good thing. And again, like I said previously, they've done a lot of good work. They've put in a lot of time, effort, and energy into this exercise, and we really hope that it will be a wonderful convention, because they've done a lot.
Would this convention be broadcast live stream for people to see? And also, I would like to know, For those who are watching us right now, how do they contact you or to get more details? Those who want to attend.
Yes, so the convention will be streamed live, beginning with the panel discussion. It will be streamed live on LPR radio, LPR TV. The General Assembly will be streamed live on KMTV and LPR radio, LPR TV. So with the soccer match, as well as the dinner that evening, and the Sunday service. So the good thing about ALJA we have is an organization of journalists. So there's no shortage of individuals who will carry these events live. So yes, all the events will be carried live. For people who want to attend this event, we have information on social media. There's contact information on social media as well, and we'll sell again, like I said, tickets at the door if you're in the Worcester area. Please, there's a number on the flyer to call. Otherwise, the event starts at 8 o'clock on Saturday. Unfortunately, I don't have the probably wanted to read out the address to the dinner. I don't have it with me, but it's on the flyer. The flyers are making the rounds on social media, and we're hoping that people turn out.
Yeah, on Facebook, and that is
Yeah.
the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, ALJA National Convention, and this convention happens annually. That is yearly, and this is where you can go to meet friends, people from Liberia. Even if you are not a journalist, you can come to the banquet, wear your best attire, the best of the best, and meet other people that you haven't known or seen. So it's going to be in Worcester, Massachusetts. And for all of you who are living in Boston, if you're Liberian, if you're living in Boston or you live in surrounding cities, please make it there. Make it there on that weekend. That will be the weekend of September the 31st. Okay, so it starts from Thursday, the 29th, and also the 30th and the 31st is the banquet. So the banquet,
Monday the
if you're
first,
not
Monday the first, which is
the
Saturday.
first, October
Yeah,
1st, I'm sorry,
yeah.
October 1st, which will be on a Saturday, and that'll be an event to watch. And so what you do is tell your friends and tell whether you're African, you're not Liberian, you're African, you're also welcome. If you're part of our organization, then tell your members. If you're a leader, tell your members so that they can attend. We have to support one another. And that's just how it is. So we'll be wrapping up here. But before we do so, any final word, Mr. President?
Yeah, I just want to add that one of the things we intend to do at this year's convention, which is something we've not done before, is to recognize a number of individuals well, we play a pioneering role in the formation of ALJA. Uh, we recognize that we are building upon um, the work that they began many years ago in 1998. Some of us were not around, but the likes of Isaac Bantu and Gabriel Williams and Kenneth Bez and even you, Alex Red and Tobias Obi. And there were many individuals who came together and thought about the idea of starting this organization that is called AJA. Uh, some of them might not be active in AJA anymore, but we believe that we need to recognize their work. We need to recognize their idea that we're building upon now. So at this year's convention, we will recognize Mr. Kenneth Best, who was AJA's first president. We will do the same for Mr. Isaac Bantu, who will be there in person as well, who was the first vice president of ALJA, and Mr. Gabriel Williams, who was ALJA first secretary general. We believe people need to be given the flowers while they're alive, and we want to begin that process this year, and hopefully it is something that we'll continue to do in subsequent conventions.
Okay, Reverend Dede,
Well,
any final word?
yeah. I was just curious, Mr. President. Time is already up. Maybe you can answer this question in your dream, but we'll really like to get just quick response on that. Over the years, you invite government officials to come. Is there any invitation to them this year? Just
Yes, I
briefly.
think it's a tradition now when it comes to ALJA that we extend every year an invitation to the chief spokesman of the Liberian government, that is the Minister of Information. We've done that consistently over the years, and we're grateful that they've responded favorably whenever we extend an invitation. Last year, the Minister of Information attended the event and was our special guest. He spoke as well. This year, we did the same. We've got an initial response from the minister. He acknowledged receipt of our communication. He has not indicated one way or the other whether there will be attendance. We hope to see him. We hope he attends. Good thing is he doesn't have to fly from Liberia because many government officials are already in the country. They've accompanied the president to the United Nations General Assembly. So I believe the minister's already here, and hopefully he gets to show up. What we've also done is to always invite the ambassador from Liberia accredited to the United States, Canada, and Mexico, who until recently was Ambassador George Patton. Ambassador Patton was a very good friend of ours. We struck a personal relationship. Unfortunately, he was recently recalled, so we don't expect that he will be at the event because he's no longer the ambassador. So at some point, we hope that the Minister of Information or some representatives can come from the Liberian government. But yes, it's a tradition of ours, and we really had a good relationship with the government over the years. We hope that can continue at this convention in the years to come.
Well, we'd like to thank you. It was a pleasure talking with you to get at least the compilation of detail relating to this event that is coming up. Hopefully, we all will meet there, and by His grace, we will be there to just celebrate together.
I
Thank
hope
you.
the two of you. I hope the two of you are exercising and training because the captain tells me you guys will make the team, Reverend Dede and Dr. Red.
All
Well,
right, that's that's
with
how
this,
we end our
so
segment here for today.
thank you, Mr.
That's how we
President,
end.
for coming. I know Ellis will play. Anything until he plays the male feed. That's like a run around.
He's conveniently ignoring my comment when I talk about him playing. He wants to
No,
close the
leave
program
me
right
alone.
away.
He is a male fielder. I'm telling you, he's going to run around and score the goals for us. We're not going to let him out of the hook. He will play this game in Worcester, out of Worcester. Yeah.
But
Worcester,
thanks so much,
Massachusetts.
gentlemen. Thanks so much for the invitation to be here and talk about our program. We're thankful. This is not something we take for granted. So thank you all so much, and hopefully, we can continue to talk about organization. We can continue to build upon the results that we had, because I think ALJA, just occupies a unique place, not among the highest amount of our colleagues because they look up to us for a lot of things, but also here in the United States because people hear our voice and know our voice is an important part of the social political discourse of our country, and hopefully we'll continue to play that role going forward.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
President.
you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. Please don't go away.